I recently dropped a massive guide on my manual editing process, and the comment section blew up with people asking why I wasn't just using an AI-powered multicam editor. You guys made a really fair point, because while the old-school manual way works, it takes forever to cut down long conversations into usable social clips. So I decided to test out a specific tool that automates the heavy lifting of podcast repurposing. And honestly, it completely changed how I look at my post-production routine. Consider this video an official update to my last tutorial, because I'm ditching the manual grind for something that actually understands content strategy. I started this test by taking a 47-minute two-camera podcast episode that I had previously cut by hand and clearing the timeline completely. My goal was to run this footage through Vizard, which is an AI tool designed to automatically identify the high-energy moments in long-form content and convert them into viral clips. I started by grabbing the free trial, installing the app, and uploading my raw footage, which consisted of 2 separate camera angles and 2 distinct audio tracks. If you are starting from scratch with multicam footage, just make sure you sync those tracks before you upload them into the AI engine for the best results. Once the file was in, the setup was honestly surprisingly simple, and I spent a few seconds selecting my preferred editing style. I usually set the cut frequency to a low to medium level because I want a natural conversational flow without having a jump cut every single second of the video. One massive time saver is that you can save these specific choices as a preset, which is clutch if you are doing weekly episodes and don't want to recalibrate every time. You also get to toggle how aggressive the tool is about removing filler words and long pauses, which is great for tightening up the pace. If you want a really snappy TikTok-friendly edit, you can crank that setting up, or keep it gentle if you prefer a more authentic, long-form podcast vibe. For this specific test, I created a custom preset that I creatively named Parker Podcast, and ensured my original timeline had no pre-existing cuts. Once that was locked in, I hit the button to generate the clips, and I honestly expected to wait a while given the length of the file. But surprisingly, the app started spitting out generated clips in near real time, which is a massive upgrade from the hours I usually spend hacking through a timeline. Watching the AI work was pretty mesmerizing, as it scans for peaks in energy, audience engagement markers, and key topic shifts automatically. It isolates the best punchlines and advice moments, essentially doing the viral clip hunting part of the job that usually takes a human editor forever to do. Because it creates multiple short clips at once, you get instant variations for different platforms like Reels or Shorts, all perfectly cropped and ready to go. In total, it took about 20 to 30 seconds to get a full batch of highlights from a 46-minute conversation. Compare that to the standard manual method where scrubbing, cutting, and trimming an hour of footage can easily eat up your entire morning. If you were paying a freelance editor to do that by hand, the cost would stack up fast, making this automation a real financial win for solo creators. Now, let's get into the quality, because the big question is whether these AI-generated cuts are actually as good as a human touch. The short answer is that they are definitely snappier and occasionally a bit more jumpy than how I would cut things. But that's actually a benefit for social media. For longer, more cinematic content, you might want to tweak the settings for a smoother flow. But for punchy shorts, it really hits the nail on the head. It doesn't mean you should just set it and forget it though, because there were a few spots where the AI sliced into a sentence right before a punchline. Those manual fixes are super easy to handle though, as you just drag the frame handles out a bit to fix the timing of the cut. The real magic is that you aren't starting from scratch anymore. You are starting from a project that is already 90% done. Unlike standard multicam editors, which just help you switch angles, this tool actually evaluates the content itself to tell you what is worth promoting. It balances that fine line between being a cost-effective subscription and providing high-level utility that actually helps you scale your channel. Plus, the auto-schedule features are the secret sauce for anyone managing multiple platforms because it puts your entire distribution pipeline in one place. You can set your posting cadence, and the tool will handle the scheduling for you so you can stop manually exporting and uploading files one by one. When I compared my manual timeline to the AI output, my manual version felt a little more cinematic, but the AI clips were just sharper for short-form platforms. A specific story my guest told got trimmed perfectly into a 30-second highlight that had way more viral energy than what I had originally pulled. It turned what would have been an hour of full-on editing into about 5 minutes of quick final cleanup. They offer a free trial, so I definitely recommend testing it yourself if you are producing any kind of regular long-form content. The math is pretty simple. Either you pay an editor per episode or you subscribe to a tool that automates the boring work so you can focus on the creative polish. And it is not just for podcasts either. This works for webinars, keynote speeches, and even long-form live streams that need to be repurposed. It effectively turns your library of long content into a multi-platform content factory, allowing you to get more mileage out of every single hour you record. I'm genuinely sold, and I'm keeping this in my toolkit for future episodes because it stops me from being stuck in the editing software for hours on end. I would still recommend giving everything a quick 5-minute pass-through to ensure the flow is perfect, but that is a massive improvement over manual trimming. If you want to dive deeper, I've linked the tool in the description along with some of my other resources for repurposing content. Try the free trial, mess with those cut frequency presets, and see if it saves you as much time as it saved me. If you want me to do a deep dive side-by-side comparison of my manual edits versus the AI output, just let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions about the specific workflow settings or the calendar features, drop those below as well, and I will happily walk you through them. That is it for today, so go save yourself some editing hours and let the machines handle the boring stuff. Focus your brain on the creative strategy instead, and catch you in the next one.